we know of 8 children who have fallen into the underground. Kara's tale was told to us in New Home. Frisk's journey we experience on our own. But what about the other 6? We know about their main traits and some of their possessions, and that they all perished in the underground. But how did it happen? What did they see? What did they experience? Wouldn't it be interesting to figure out more about them? There's only one person who truly knows these secrets. Of course, I'm talking about our AI overlord ChatGPT, who can perfectly reconstruct the missing pieces of the mystery. So follow me on the journey of the second fallen child. I asked the AI to pick one of the human traits and a name for the child. It chose Perseverance and Claire. And now we let the AI magic take over. The tragic story of Claire shall commence.
Some time had passed since Asriel and Kara had passed away. Asgore, king of the monsters, had declared war on mankind, and declared that every human that fell into the underground would be killed, and their souls would be collected. Appalled by her husband's plan, Toriel abandoned him and went to the ruins, where she lived in solitude. Her days became quiet, and she decided to take care of the ruins to pass the time. However, the silence would abruptly come to an end when another child, Claire, decided to climb Mount Abbott, underestimating its dangers. Claire was known among her friends for her perseverance. She wore cloudy glasses and only had a torn notebook with her. When she discovered a cave at the side of the mountain, she tripped and fell down a deep, dark hole. Toriel awoke from the noise and hastened to the location where she thought the sound had emerged from. Her intuition was correct. She discovered Claire laying on the ground. A patch of yellow flowers that Toriel had planted earlier miraculously softened the fall.
"Oh dear, are you hurt, my child?"
Toriel said, attending to the child. Claire looked up at Toriel, her eyes wide with fear and confusion. She shook her head, unable to find the words to express what she was feeling. Toriel smiled gently and helped her to her feet.
"Welcome to the underground, my child,"
she said, her voice filled with warmth and kindness.
"I am Toriel, and I will be your caretaker from now on."
Claire looked up at Toriel, still unsure of what was happening, but she felt a sense of calm and safety wash over her as the monster took her hand and led her deeper into the ruins. As they walked, Toriel showed Claire around the ruins, pointing out the different areas and explaining the history of the place. Claire was amazed by the beauty of the underground, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and curiosity. She asked many questions, and Toriel answered them all with patience, giving her a sense of belonging in this new world. But as they walked, Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Toriel noticed and asked her if something was troubling her. Claire hesitated for a moment, but then she opened up to Toriel about her feelings. Toriel noticed that Claire didn't know about Asgore's plan, so she explained it to her in a gentle and delicate way. Toriel assured her that she was safe here with her, and that she would not let anyone harm her. Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of relief as she heard this. She knew that she could trust Toriel and that she would be safe under her care. As they continued to walk, Toriel showed Claire her room in the ruins. It was a small, cozy room with a comfortable bed and a bookshelf filled with books. Toriel explained that this would be Claire's room from now on, and that she was welcome to make it her own. Claire was overjoyed and thanked Toriel for her kindness. Toriel smiled and said,
"It is my pleasure, my child. Now, let us make some lunch. I have a special recipe for butterscotch cinnamon pie that I think you'll enjoy."
And with that, they set off to the kitchen to prepare lunch together. I never mentioned the cinnamon butterscotch pie there, I knows it's Undertale lore. As they baked and talked, Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of happiness and contentment. And I couldn't help but feel a sense of sentence structure repetition. She had found a new home and a new family in the underground, and she knew that she would be safe and loved under Toriel's care. And as she took a bite of the warm and delicious pie, she knew that she had found a place where she truly belonged. Over the next few days, Claire and Toriel spent their time getting to know each other and exploring the ruins. Toriel showed Claire all of her favorite spots, including a beautiful garden filled with flowers and a small pond where they would often sit and watch the fish swim. Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe as she explored this new world. One day while they were out exploring, they stumbled upon an old abandoned laboratory. Toriel explained that it belonged to an old scientist named Dr. Gaster, who had disappeared many years ago. Claire was fascinated by the strange and mysterious equipment, and asked Toriel many questions about Dr. Gaster and his experiments. Toriel smiled and told her that it was a story for another day. That's crazy, I didn't mention Gaster either. I like how she only teases us and doesn't go into more detail. How appropriate. Another day, Toriel suggested to Claire that they should have a picnic in the garden. Claire was excited by the idea, and helped Toriel prepare sandwiches, cookies and lemonade. As they sat in the garden eating their lunch and enjoying the warm underground sun, Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of happiness and contentment. She was grateful to have Toriel as her caretaker and friend. ChatGPT really likes reusing the same sentence structure. As the days passed, Claire and Toriel grew closer and closer. They laughed and joked together, and Claire couldn't help but feel a sense of joy and laughter in her heart. Toriel's bad puns and jokes were a source of amusement for Claire, and she loved to hear them. They baked together, read together, and even had a picnic together. Claire felt like she had found a new family in the underground, and she knew that she would be safe and loved under Toriel's care. As Claire and Toriel grew closer, Claire couldn't help but notice that Toriel lived alone in the ruins. She wondered why, and one day she mustered up the courage to ask Toriel about it. Toriel hesitated for a moment, clearly uncomfortable with the topic. She looked at Claire and said,
"It's a long and complicated story, my child, but I'll tell you what I can. You see, I was once the queen of the underground, married to Asgore, the king of the monsters. We had a son, Asriel, who was the light of our lives. But one day a human child fell into the underground. We took the child in and treated it as our own. We named her Kara. But unfortunately, both Asriel and Kara passed away, and it was a great loss for me and Asgore."
Claire could see the sadness and pain in Toriel's eyes as she spoke.
"I'm so sorry,"
Claire said, reaching out to take Toriel's hand.
"It must have been so hard for you."
Toriel smiled softly and squeezed Claire's hand.
"It was,"
she said.
"and it still is. Asgore and I, we had different ideas about how to honor their memory. He wanted to use their souls to break the barrier between the underground and the surface, but I couldn't stand by and watch him do that. It was not what Asriel and Kara would have wanted, so I left him, and I came to the ruins to be alone and to honor their memory in my own way."
Claire listened to Toriel's story with a heavy heart. She could see the pain and sadness in Toriel's eyes, and she knew that it was still a sore subject for her. She hugged Toriel tightly, letting her know that she was there for her. Toriel hugged her back, grateful for Claire's understanding and comfort. As the days went on, Claire and Toriel continued to spend time together, but Claire could tell that something was troubling Toriel. She could see the sadness in her eyes whenever she talked about Asgore, and Asriel and Kara. Claire knew that she needed to be there for Toriel, to listen and to support her. One day as they were sitting in the garden, Claire turned to Toriel and said,
"I know that you're still hurting, Toriel, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'll still listen if you want to talk more about it, and I'll be here to support you no matter what."
Toriel looked at Claire and smiled, tears welling up in her eyes.
"Thank you, my child," she said. "That means more to me than you know. I've been carrying this pain for a long time, and it's nice to have someone to share it with."
From that day on, Claire and Toriel talked more openly about Asriel and Kara and Asgore. Toriel shared her memories and her feelings with Claire, and it helped her to cope with the pain she had been carrying. Claire listened and supported her, and it brought them even closer together. Claire was happy to have Toriel in her life. She was grateful for her guidance, care and protection, and she knew that she had found a true friend and family in the underground. As Claire and Toriel's days together passed, Toriel couldn't help but worry about the possibility of Asgore finding out about Claire's existence. She knew that he would stop at nothing to capture a human and use their soul to break the barrier, and she couldn't bear the thought of Claire falling into his hands. She knew that she had to protect her at all costs. One day, Toriel received a visit from Undyne, Asgore's chief royal guard. Undyne was a fierce and skilled warrior, and she was known for her harsh and uncompromising nature. Toriel greeted her politely, but she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as Undyne looked around the ruins. Undyne explained that she was searching for any humans that might have fallen to the underground, and that she was under orders from Asgore to capture them. Toriel's heart raced with fear, as she thought about Claire, who was hiding in her room at the moment. But Toriel was quick on her feet and she came up with a plan. She told Undyne that there were no humans in the ruins, and that she had been living alone for a while. Undyne looked skeptical, but Toriel's convincing words and her calm and collective demeanor made her believe her. Undyne left the ruins, and Toriel breathed a sigh of relief. She knew that she had to be more careful from now on, and she couldn't let her guard down. She went to check on Claire and found her safe and sound. Toriel hugged Claire tightly, tears of relief and gratitude welling up in her eyes. She knew that she had to be more careful from now on, to keep Claire safe from Asgore and his minions. She made a promise to herself and to Claire that she would do everything in her power to protect her and ensure her safety. From that day on, Toriel became more vigilant in her efforts to keep Claire hidden. She made sure to keep the ruins in good condition and to keep the garden beautiful, so that no one would suspect that there was a human living there. She also made sure to keep Claire's presence a secret and to be careful with who she trusted. Despite the added stress and concern, Toriel was happy to have Claire by her side. The child brought light and joy to her life, and she knew that she had made the right decision in taking her in and protecting her. She was grateful for the bond they had formed, and she knew that together they could overcome any challenges that may come their way. With the knowledge that Asgore and his minions were searching for humans, Toriel knew that she had to be extra careful in keeping Claire safe. She knew that she couldn't let her guard down, not even for a moment. Toriel started to take further precautions to keep Claire hidden. She made sure to keep the doors and windows of the ruins locked, and to install an alarm system that would alert her if anyone was approaching. She also made sure to keep the garden well maintained, so that no one would suspect that there was a human living there. To keep Claire entertained and occupied, Toriel taught her how to cook and bake, and they spent many hours in the kitchen together. She also taught her how to read, and they spent many hours in the library, reading and discussing books. Probably about snails. They also spent time in the garden, tending to the flowers and watching the fish in the pond. As they spent more time together, they grew even closer. Toriel became like a mother to Claire, and Claire like a daughter to Toriel. They were a family, and they were determined to keep each other safe no matter what. Despite Toriel's efforts to keep Claire hidden, she knew that it was only a matter of time before Asgore or one of his minions discovered her presence. She feared that Undyne, Asgore's chief royal guard, would return to the ruins and become more suspicious of her story. One day, her fear came true, as Undyne returned to the ruins. This time, she was more suspicious and asked more questions. She looked around more carefully, and Toriel could see the suspicion in her eyes. Toriel tried to remain calm and composed, but she could feel her heart racing with fear. She knew that she had to think fast and come up with a plan to keep Claire safe. She decided to be honest with Undyne and tell her the truth about Claire.
Undyne, I have something to tell you,
Toriel said, her voice shaking slightly.
I know that you are here to search for humans, but please, I beg of you, do not harm this child. She's innocent, and I have taken her in as my own. She's like a daughter to me, and I love her as if she were my own. Please, I beg of you, have mercy on her.
Undyne looked at Toriel, surprised by her words, but then she shook her head, her expression hardening. I'm sorry, Toriel, but my loyalty lies with Asgore. He has ordered me to bring him any human that falls into the underground. and I cannot go against his commands. I'll have to bring this child to him. Toriel's heart sank, and she knew that she had to act fast to protect Claire. She knew that she had to do whatever it takes to keep her safe and to keep her away from Asgore's grasp. Hearing Undyne's response, Toriel's heart sank. She knew that she had to protect Claire at all costs, and she couldn't let her be taken to Asgore. She knew that she had to act fast and do whatever it takes to keep her safe.
Undyne, please,
Toriel said, her voice shaking with emotion.
I beg of you, do not take this child away from me. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her.
Undyne looked at Toriel, her expression hardening. I'm sorry, Toriel, but my loyalty lies with Asgore. I cannot go against his orders. Toriel's eyes narrowed and she clenched her fists. She knew that she had to protect Claire and she was willing to fight for her.
Then you leave me no choice,
Toriel said, her voice cold and firm.
If you try to take this child away from me, I'll have no choice but to defend her. I'll use my fire magic to protect her, and I'll fight you with everything I have.
Undyne looked at Toriel, her expression grim. She knew that Toriel was a powerful monster, and she knew that she wouldn't be able to take her on alone. She also knew that she couldn't go against Asgore's orders, and she couldn't let a human stay in the underground. She had to think of a way to resolve this conflict without fighting. Toriel, I understand your feelings, but please try to understand my position as well, Undyne said, trying to reason with her. I have pledged my loyalty to Asgore, and I cannot go against his orders. Can we not come to a compromise? Let me talk to Asgore and see if there's a way to resolve this without fighting. Toriel looked at Undyne, her expression softened. She knew that Undyne was trying to find a peaceful solution, and then she understood her position as well. She agreed to hear her out, and they continued to talk, and try to find a solution that would keep Claire safe, and also satisfy Asgore's order. After some discussion and brainstorming, it becomes clear that it's difficult to find a compromise that would satisfy all parties involved. Toriel's main priority is to protect Claire and keep her safe, while Undyne's loyalty lies with Asgore and his orders to capture any human that falls into the underground. Toriel and Undyne both understand each other's position and try to find a solution that would be the least harmful for all. But the more they talk, the more it becomes clear that there is no middle ground to be found. Finally, Undyne suggests that she takes Claire to Asgore, but guarantees her safety and that she would not harm her. Toriel is hesitant and worried, but she sees no other options. She also knows that Undyne is an honorable and trustworthy person, and she believes that she will keep her promise. Toriel agrees to let Claire go with Undyne, but she makes her promise that she will protect her with her life. Undyne promises that she will do everything in her power to keep Claire safe and to find a way for her to return to the surface. With a heavy heart, Toriel bid farewell to Claire, knowing that this decision may put her in danger. She also knows that this will be a difficult journey for Claire, but she has to trust in Undyne's promise and hope that everything will work out in the end.
Will Undyne keep her word? What will Asgore do? Find out in the next episode of The Second Fallen Child, when we go from heartwarming to heartbreaking. See you there.